2 months ago, I released a documentary on Tyson, whose dark past was dug up due to their previous association of Shäd Prajan, aka Shädman. Something I purposely didn't dive deep into was some of the other online creators who have associated with Shädman. Though, with a few recent updates to the story, I think it's time to delve deeper into some of these cases. But first, some context regarding Shäd's past is needed. Born in Switzerland, Shäd was always passionate about art, but wanted to go to college in order to study game design. He squandered his only chance of this due to his raunchy, inappropriate artwork, which he'd post on his now defunct website, shadbase.com. The issue wasn't just that he drew animated porn, but the fact that the girls looked underage. Shäd would circumvent the obvious criticism by stating, "All characters drawn by Shädman are 18 or older, even if specified otherwise." His college found out, and removed him due to his art being highly illegal. And that's not just me saying that. Shäd himself worded it like that.
"We found some stuff on your website, which is highly illegal, and we cannot allow you back on the campus.
Oh wow!
Because you're a menace to society."
They said that exactly. Yes. You're a menace to society.
They made me sign a thing accepting that
you're a menace.
Yes.
Son, it's you're a menace.
You are officially a menace to society.
Legally, you're a menace.
Now, Shäd and his Gooner fans have always tried downplaying the severity of his art, trying to make it seem like he's an outcast due to his edgelord nature. In reality, it's because he's a socially inept weirdo who likes to draw lolicon. He's not a menace for drawing edgy porn. He's a menace for drawing animated CP. Though many of the online creators he met through Newgrounds usually just played it off as risque art, even when there was a rumor that he drew porn of his own mother. This worked for so many years because Shäd always portrayed himself as this badass guy, depicting himself as a fascist skeleton. This was set up as another defense against criticism, having Shädman be a separate character from his actual self. If you called him out for drawing lolicon, his fans would just say, "Oh, it's just a character, he's not actually that edgy in real life." If you want to learn more about Shädman, I recommend watching Turkey Tom's old coverage, or this more recent video made by Node Armstrong. I'll link to both in the description below as always. During the mid-2010s, YouTube would enter what some have called the edgy era. This saw the rise of commentary and risque skit videos that pushed major boundaries online. This was the perfect time and place for Shäd to garner an online career, even after many smaller controversies like when he drew Ed Gold being molested by the Grim Reaper. We'd see Shäd collab with many different creators from the old Newgrounds community like OniNG and Psychic Pebbles. In fact, a lot of what we know about Shäd comes from his appearance on their podcast, Sleepycast. Though what forever tarnished his reputation was the Keemstar's daughter controversy in late 2016. Shäd had drawn sexual depictions of Keem's 8-year-old daughter, and later did the same to Daphne Keene and LT Corbus, both being 12 years old. By this point, most ceased associations of Shäd, though others like Kris Tyson would still consume his content, and even buy a Shäd-based poster for their bedroom. Once the Kris Tyson controversy occurred last summer, many other creators were questioned about their associations of Shäd. If you engaged with Shäd after the Keemstar's daughter controversy, you were to be questioned. Cope and Seeth would make a Twitter thread listing all these examples, and I'll link that down below too. People like Sky Williams, Sir Palo, Chris Raygun, Jessica Negri, and 2Mad. 2Mad's soul is stuck inside Overwatch 2, jerking it to Shädman art. It basically became the Epstein list of the commentary community, though the real question is if any of these people knew about Shäd drawing porn of real children. It's suspected some did, as they were well acquainted with the commentary community at the time, and would have known about Colossal's crazy confronting Shäd about it. Colossal later wrote, "Almost every active commentator, drama viewer, and creator back in 2016 and 2017 followed him. Some of those even endorsed him, some even actively supported him. Keem and I were the only ones within that time frame that called him out at any point." What I want to do here is assess some of the more notable people involved in this drama, and see what their level of support was. Did they ignorantly follow and support Shäd without knowing he drew animated CP? Or did they know about that and didn't care, due to either hating Keemstar or secretly enjoying lolicon? YouTuber and Twitter reply guy Ricky Berwick would engage with Shäd on a multitude of occasions. Though I'm not able to access these anymore, Spondyle and others in the commentary community grew suspicious of him, especially after he released a half-assed response. Everyone was a fucking fan of Shädbase from 2016 to 2019. You aren't exposing me. I deleted my interactions/replies because I have no longer been a fan for years, for obvious reasons. Now honestly, this isn't a terrible comeback, but many still wanted answers. Namely, if he knew about Shäd's obsession with real underage girls. This leads us to Liam Donovan, formerly known as Lerix, who asked Ricky about this himself. Were you aware of Shädman drawing Keemstar's daughter and continued to support him after? As well as Shädman drawing the child from the Logan movie? Plus, these are interactions of you wanting to buy art from Shäd in 2020. Would appreciate an explanation. Ricky replied, Keemstar and everyone else knew what interacted with him and everyone else on Twitter with video replies. This implied that Ricky knew of Shäd's controversies involving Keem's daughter, making it out like he was given the green light to interact with him. Many question the validity of this, as it doesn't seem like something Keemstar would be okay with. But at the end of the day, I personally don't think Ricky was an actual fan or supporter of Shäd. I think he was just trying to farm easy engagements with a controversial online figure. It's something he's always done. You know, when he's not shoving stuff up his asshole or crawling around the kitchen floor in a diaper.
What are you doing? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, okay.
Ricky later clarified what he meant in his last response, saying that he did talk to Keem. I reached out privately to Keem first before I said anything else. I get where Keem and a ton of you are coming from, and I apologize for ever interacting with Shäd. I see this type of shit on the rise lately with certain influencers, and I hate it. I will continue to call out this shit anytime I see it. So that was that. Ricky was just engagement baiting. He wasn't gooning it to Shäd-based art. In fact, I don't think this guy can physically masturbate with his fucked up little fingers. Last month, when I announced this video, I did not expect to be dedicating an entire segment to Anisa Jomha and her husband Idubbbz. The EHD IA+ content will never end. We're gonna drive Chud Logic over the edge and send him to an insane asylum. Idubbbz tried taking a shot at Ethan Klein over a recently discovered 15-year-old Reddit account called Pedo-Troll, which, as the name implies, was a troll account meant to trick unsuspecting people. People were quick to point out the hypocrisy of Idubbbz calling out other people's edgy jokes, especially after the long, drawn-out apology tour in 2023. This led to the discovery of Ian's connection to Shädman, who would draw art based on multiple Content Cop episodes. One depicts a caricature of Rice Gum, and the other shows Tana Mojo drawn as a lolicon. Idubbbz would actually retweet Shädman in September 2016, a drawing of then US presidential candidate Hillary Clinton depicted as a lolly. He did so, as the drawing contained references to the then new Leafy Content Cop. It seems like Idubbbz was a Shäd-based supporter at the time, as someone also noticed him liking another inappropriate art piece. Ian's fans clearly knew about Shäd's degeneracy, as Reddit posts about these drawings show them being weirded out by this. While researching this, I found a year-old Reddit post from Weezonator, which showed 2 screenshots from Idubbbz videos where Shäd-based art is used. One is a piece shown in the first ever Creator Clash announcement video, where Ian talks about his cancelled fight with Rice Gum.
I'm trying to tell him all the upside. I'm like, dude, you could sell merch. You can turn me into the alien from Family Guy, get knocked out on the front of a t-shirt. You could sell that and make a lot of revenue.
In my opinion, I think Ian knows about the Shädman art, as Shädman tagged Idubbbz when he posted it back in October 2017, during the original beef of Rice. Shäd was also still engaging with Ian on Twitter, requesting him to post pictures of his asshole. I guess Shäd really likes cuckold porn. More strange is Ian inserting Shädman art into a gaming channel video back in 2018.
I don't know if that's physically possible, like if your fingers would ever adjust to like doing that. It's a thought.
That's very clearly Shäd art. The dude has an incredibly recognizable style. Ian's wife has also mentioned him a few times on Twitter, like back in 2018 when she said, "I'm getting my hair done, scrolling through Twitter, and then boom, there it is. Shädman art of Thanos pulling anal beads out of his ass. The hairdresser lady left, and I don't think she's coming back. Hairdresser lady, if you ever see this, I am so sorry." Now that tweet by itself is not suspicious. She probably just saw his art randomly on her feed. But then, there's this tweet from 2020. "Shädman, your art came to life. How'd you do that?" These tweets have since been deleted. So I'm sure you've at least heard of Parlo's recent document on Pyrocynical, going over the extensive allegations of him inappropriately messaging minors. Some claim that Pyro was having relations with these minors, and others allege he sent furry fetish porn, because I guess it wasn't bad enough that he goons to furries inflating. Pyro hasn't made a full response to this document yet, so if I want to make a full video on this, it wouldn't be until he does. His strategy seems to be waiting for a smaller YouTuber to fuck up the story, so he can respond to the weakest arguments against him. That's my theory at least.
I can't just go ahead and respond to it now. I need to now wait for all the YouTubers and everyone to jump in and have their say and say their piece about it. And then I need to respond to it. If I do. So it's just another waiting game, you know? And I got two choices now. I basically put my head under the sand and I stop working. And then my employees suffer because they can't get paid, you know? And I just like sit in my apartment gooning all day. Or I just keep working until until it comes to that point. There's really not much else I could do in this situation apart from, just waiting for, every single YouTuber to come out. I mean, I did that with the original video. I remember in the original response video when YouTubers like had their say and stuff. And then I used that in my actual response video as well. So it's just like, it's a waiting game for this document to come out. And now it's another waiting game to see, like, for everyone to have their piece to say, basically.
What I haven't seen that many people cover is the section of the document at page 281, discussing his many interactions with Shädman. Obviously, many of these tweets are deleted, but we can still tell what's going on here. One of them shows Shäd talking about Team Pyro from Team Fortress 2, and then complimenting Pyrocynical. Pyro agrees, and then promotes himself. People are surprised that the two of them know each other. Pyro seemingly also engaged with another Shädman post in 2017 under a different username, with someone on his subreddits reposting this, begging Shäd to draw porn of Pyro. He would also interact with Shäd in 2018, with supporters being well aware that Shäd draws lolicon. Obviously, not all of Pyro's fans were supportive of this, with some calling him out. As far as we know, Pyro was following Shäd up until early 2019, and obviously, just following this guy isn't bad by itself. What is strange is engaging with a guy that very publicly draws CP. Also, there's this photo floating around where Pyro met up with Shädman, though this is most likely a cosplayer of Shäd and not the real guy. Pyrocynical's friend, Dolan Dark, would also engage with Shäd, with many joking about Shädman drawing Pyro trap porn. And apparently, Pyro referenced this in a video, though I wasn't able to figure out which one. If you're able to find it, link it in the comments below and I'll pin it. Dolan Dark did end up responding, basically saying he simply replied to some meme tweets and does not support the guy. It's not the greatest response, I mean he is downplaying it a little bit, but Pyro hasn't and most likely will never fully respond to any of this. Elvis The Alien situation is a much different story, as he flat out promoted Shädman's depraved content, and also gave out one of the dumbest apology videos I've seen in a while. Elvis would constantly reply to him around 2018, thanking him for his content, and even saying, "You're weird as fuck, haha. At least you're talented." He was seemingly so defensive of the guy due to free speech absolutism, a concept that has led many people to defend really gross and immoral shit such as drawn CP. Weird art, very weird. But I'm in full support of your website staying up. It's the people that demand this art that I'm personally critical of. Though this would go a step further when Elvis would review various pieces of Shäd art in his now defunct series, People Ruin Everything. In People Ruin the Incredibles, he downplays who Shäd is and gives him a shout out. He even shows his website.
Shädman sent me that. This dude's like famous for drawing a bunch of really lewd stuff. You want to see his website real quick?
Sure.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Ooh, that banner at the top is...
He draws a lot of little girls doing it.
Oh my god. Is this like his job, his full time?
His profession. Oh my god, this is actually one of the Incredibles.
Oh my god.
Ew.
Wait, whose dick is that?
That's Elastigirl,
Oh.
and then her daughter.
When people ask him what he does, like what do you do for work?
Yeah, like in public or
He's-
something?
Yeah, what does he say?
I guess he just says he draws cartoons.
He would also use Shädman art in some of his thumbnails, leading Keemstar to call him out. You used a known cartoon CP artist for your thumbnails, the same artist that drew in real-life children in a sexual manner. Then you defend his website to be up that shown the sexual art of real-life children. Elvis soon deactivated his Twitter for a brief time, and shortly after put out this strange second channel video.
Why am I still getting hate? Okay, so this video is for the people from Twitter. If you aren't from Twitter, then this video might confuse you.
He mostly spends this video dunking on Keemstar and whining about cancel culture, essentially trying to downplay his actions.
There's a document listing every creator that has ever interacted with Shädman on Twitter, and it's seen as this huge sin now, like the Epstein tapes or something, when it's not comparable at all. You don't even have to be friends with the guy. Simply replying to his tweets at one point in a friendly way is enough for these people to bring out the guillotine. Let me be clear, I was impulsive with my initial tweet when I defended myself, and in that tweet I said that back then I wasn't aware of the full extent of Shädman's degeneracy. When the truth is, I knew enough. I really didn't need confirmation back then, or hard proof that he was a pedo, or proof that he drew art for many other pedos, to find him worthy of serious scrutiny. I probably could have just guessed that by what I saw on Twitter.
So essentially, he knew the whole time, yet still chose to promote him within his own YouTube videos. He does deny that he ever commissioned Shäd to draw him something, and takes back his old statements about free speech absolutism.
I think if you draw stuff like that, you should be locked up. Back then, I was a dumbass who thought freedom of speech and expression was precious and should be upheld despite mine or anyone else's feelings about someone's artwork. I don't believe that today, especially in regards to lolly. I think drawing any sort of minor in a sexual way is abhorrent. I thought the same way back then, but my principles were fucked. I thought that since I was openly mocking his weird shit in my People Ruin Everything videos, that was proof enough that I didn't approve of his stuff. But I guess it wasn't.
However, this video still got a lot of shit, as Elvis spends part of it trying to hypocrisy mine Keemstar.
And of course, it's Keemstar who made this so much worse. Really, Keemstar? The dude has more skeletons in his closet than mostly everyone on that Shädman list. The man is 42 years old, and he's dating a 23-year-old, while I've been happily married for 10 years to someone 1 year.
Okay, this is fucking gay, dude. So he's insinuating that Keemstar is a nonce.
There are a lot of things to shit on Keemstar for, but implying that he's some sort of creep for dating another adult is fucking retarded. If you want to call it weird, fair play, but that's nowhere near as bad as promoting a pedophile on your YouTube channel. Elvis did end up cutting that out of the video, issuing a retraction in a pinned comment. He soon announced a mental health break before eventually returning to Twitter. Belle Delphine is your typical e-girl farming admirations from simps and outrage from the general public due to the amount of publicity stunts she's done, from selling her own bathwater to faking her own arrest and doing a bizarre photo shoot some claim promotes rape. She's always marketed herself as an edgy, provocative person, collabing with many big YouTubers. People brought up her connection to Shädman during the hypocrisy hunt against Keemstar, as the two had met each other the year prior. This implies Keem knew about any of this, but he clearly didn't. She would cosplay as Shädman, and allegedly even reposted not safe for work art of herself that was drawn by Shäd. Keemstar did eventually find out through Nux Taku, tweeting, "Actually, I had no idea that Belle Delphine had any involvement with the cartoon CP artist, cause I don't really follow her content. So yeah, she definitely owes me an apology for supporting such an evil man. But I do remember you supporting the cartoon CP artist." This leads us to the last person I want to talk about here, Nux Taku. Nux is someone I've been thinking about covering on this channel for a while now. He's this really annoying VTuber currently masquerading as his conservative political pundit, though people are quick to remind him about the many skeletons in his closet. Nux seems to have talked with Shädman outside the typical Twitter interactions, having conversations through DMs.
For those of you that are unaware, Shädman is a person that draws a lot of, well, I would say hentai, but when I said, hey, I've seen your hentai, he was like, I don't draw hentai. I draw digital porn that has slight, there is slight inspiration that he takes from hentai, but it is not hentai. That's literally what the man told me, and I was like, what? So I messaged him, did you know my theory that hentai is a latent Japanese tactic after World War II to indoctrinate Western society? I actually messaged that to him, and he says, I didn't know that was your theory, but I heard that before, similar to this stuff. Like, make us have less kids, because we're attracted to anime girls. But have you ever considered that Japan is a tiny island, overpopulated, and there's tsunamis, ocean tides, water closing in. They need to have less children at the moment because it's overcrowded. So maybe they did it for themselves, and like, we just liked what we saw, and we took it. One of the most popular hentai girls isn't even Japanese. Lamau sends me a picture of Raven from Teen Titans. Actual interaction that we had. So, I was talking to Shädman. That's a weird, yeah. And,
that's a way to start a sentence.
That's a way to start a sentence. And he has some interesting takes on Gardevoir.
He can keep them. I don't think I need to hear them.
Yeah, they're weird. Dude, honestly, it was the weirdest conversation I've ever had in my life. Like, through DMs. I didn't speak to him, like, voice, but it was the weirdest conversation I've ever had in my life.
I don't think you could have a normal conversation with a guy like Shädman.
Oh my lord. Shädman. Oh my god. I'm scrolling through the DMs. There are a few things that he said that were interesting. And he also says each word in like a different message.
Oh, he's one of those multiple text guys.
Oh my god. Me neither. Games are too corny. Sure, it's good, but games are just corny to me. So I'm not a gamer. I'm like Sans, because I spent 11 hours beating him on stream when I was younger. Point is, hereditary means passed down from generations. Genetical memory, instinct. You dig? Then why accident if you exist? You're not perfect, but you exist. Why call it an accident? Hentai is ugly to me.
These clips came from late 2021, 5 years after Shädman was exposed for publicly drawing real children. But I guess Nux was just having casual conversations about hentai. Around this time, Nux is on Twitter asking to collab with Shäd, though this never went through. In current day, Nux says this would have been an interview where he trolls Shädman, not shouting him out.
I say, people saying I'm a liar because of these tweets. Aside from not knowing the extent of his shit then, meaning I didn't know about the Keemstar daughter's shit, I'd collab with all kinds of scum. Most of my collabs are trolling, and I was gonna grill him. I'd interview EDP. I've never commissioned, promoted, been friends with him. And then I say I'll probably talk about this more when I come back from vacation. So, Lerix, commentary YouTuber fellow, says, good faith question, hoping you could clarify. This is huge, because most questions, not at all good faith. So you didn't know the extent of his shit then, but you were going to grill him at the same time. If you did get that collab, what would you grill Shäd on? From what I remember, he was known as the guy who drew minors sexually. You didn't know that? The rare good faith question. I knew about the lolly stuff and some of his art, like the bestiality with fictional children, etc. Definitely enough to grill the guy. Holy shit, there is so much more. Like, there is so much more than just that. That is the worst, and that would have been the hard cutoff for me to not even respond to the guy, probably. But I legitimately was gonna grill the guy. If you've seen my collabs, I didn't know about Keemstar's daughter, although that's the less important part of my tweet. Collabs are not promotions or condonement in any way on my channel. Appreciate the reply. If you have a history of doing many collabs for the sole purpose of trolling them, I think this is fair. Not gonna lie, when saying I was asking for a collab as a troll, it looks kinda bad.
Nux then shows 2 of these collabs as examples. One being a video where he trolls Kagi Films, an anime dub voice actor. The whole bit was that Nux would be showing him terrible dubs, but would actually be showing Kagi his own work. In another, he tricks Daily Dose of Internet into watching cringy anime scenes, with the twist being that they were all dubbed with his own voice. And he trolled Matt Owens, the producer of Netflix's live-action One Piece show, by showing him other anime adaptations.
I showed him all these terrible anime adaptations purely for the sole purpose of telling him that I don't think his adaptation of One Piece will succeed. Yes, this was a massive troll. It was all for me to give him for an hour grilling him on why I think his One Piece live adaptation will fail. I was wrong. The One Piece live action was actually kind of great. Not gonna lie. But again, not the point. It was a collab purely for the purpose of trolling. All right?
As pointed out by Lerix in his coverage, these can barely be considered grilling, as it's more so just harmless banter between 2 friends. He gives them all shoutouts in the description and links to them, basically promoting them.
My hopes are not very high for the One Piece live action adaptation, and I was super surprised at how, actually passionate you are about One Piece. That's what really surprised me, and I was like, whoa, if someone could make a live action One Piece, it would be someone like this.
I'm doing my best.
Here we are, fingers crossed. I'm excited to see what actually happens.
I can only imagine what the collab with Shädman will be. Oh hey guys! Today we'll be showing Shädman terrible pieces of drawn CP, but they'll actually be his own work. Anyways, shout out to him, go check out his stuff. link in the description below. This leads me to think about how his EDP interview would have gone if it did exist, which I can't find evidence for. Hey guys, today we'll be talking to my good pal EDP445. Shoutouts to him. I'll be linking his current address in the description below. Go hang out with him. He'll give out free cupcakes. Many are not willing to give Nux the benefit of the doubt due to his slimy behavior, as he failed to respond to Lerix's concerns. In my opinion, I think Nux was at least somewhat friendly with Shädman, explaining why they talked in DMs about weird anime shit.
I just scrolled back in my DMs from how old is this? 1 second. 2020 with Shädman, because he sent me some wild shit.
Nux also used a piece of Shädman art in one of his own thumbnails, which he later changed. His excuse is that the character wasn't underage, and he didn't know that it was Shäd, even though the guy has a very recognizable art style. Separate from that, Nux would use very questionable art from other people in his thumbnails, arousing suspicions.
Not suggesting this was Nux Taku's intent with these. Perhaps so many are removed because he realized how bad a look it is, or maybe it just became a YouTube problem.
This fucking freak got swept for, and it made me look like I was being a fucking retard. It's completely obscene. It is totally fucking obscene, bro. What the fuck was Muta thinking? This is fucking obscenity. This is totally obscene, okay?
I highly recommend watching this video by Harmful Opinions, as it goes over many of Nux's other perverted behaviors, including his promotion of inappropriate art. Muta, Nux's co-host on the Some Ordinary podcast, would chat about this with Chud Logic, stating that the show would end, partially due to Nux's association of Shädman. However, it was later made out by Muta to be because of changes to the podcast format. Muta still intended to be friends with Nux, up until more information was dug up in the months following, including a series of clips dug up by the YouTuber Nikandros. It seems like Nux had a habit of showing Muta and Oompaville questionable hentai.
Oh, dude, come on. God, dude.
Let's go. God is the greatest wingman of all time.
God's like, sure, buddy, you get to fuck your hot sister. I'll give you something more too. Fuck it.
It is quite beautiful. I love this RuneScape.
Thank you, Wind Sensei. The wind blows for us, gamers. Check this out. That's pretty huge.
That is pretty huge. That's massive.
The rest of it's just different cousins and stuff.
Wait, he's got more hot cousins? Fuck.
No, this dude has tons of cousins. It's all about the cousins. We have the ultimate little sister survival guide that will teach you the right way to get to the trending page on Pornhub.
Oh, God.
This is the 5 rules of handling your younger sisters.
What the?
These are the 4 younger sisters.
Oh. Bro, they're fucking exceptionally young. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking freak. I'm gonna start calling him Nux Taku from now on.